Oh dear, right, okay, fine.
Outnumbered.
Have we got a guidance for the chairman?
It's now live on YouTube, and Councillor Hess has just joined by Zoom.
Okay.
The first thing on the agenda is the committee has to agree chairman.
Which I've been,
I would like to propose you as chairman. I'm going to second that.
I think a certain amount of avoidance here.
I'll third it then.
Right, well, welcome. We're here to discuss just one item, which is the licensing application for the new premises at the Maison Restaurant and Recklesham House in Farnham. In terms of looking at the process, we start off by asking Paul to summarize the application and.
I don't know if we perhaps could introduce ourselves first of all, if that's all right.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's possible we ought to
It's
just.
just doing that for you.
Yes. I'm Councillor Jerome Davidson from Haslemere, Hindhead. Councillor Ellis.
Patricia Ellis, Cranley West.
And Anna James from Chiddingfold, from Dunsfold.
Right. So I don't think we've got any.
I'm
Possible.
Georgina Hall, I'm just clocking the meeting.
I'm Janine Pastor-James, I'm the solicitor.
I'm Paul Hughes, the licensing manager.
I'm Lorna Valentine, Kit Valentine, and my husband Ben Kit, and we are the owners of Maison Restaurant.
Right.
And we have somebody on Zoom.
Yes.
So we can't hear you.
Yes, hello, good morning. I'm Councillor George Hess from Farnham Town Council, here to speak representing Farnham Town Council.
Thank you. And if I could ask our licensing officer to introduce the
Okay, thank you, Chairman.
case.
As you stated, we have in front of us an application for a new premises licence for Maison Restaurant, where 2 valid representations have been received from other persons, which are attached to Annex 6. There have been no representations received from responsible authorities, although both the police and environmental health have agreed proposed conditions with the applicant. These were attached to Annex 4 and 5 respectively. In brief, the applicant seeks to license the premises for the provision of regulated entertainment, live and recorded music, late night refreshment and the sale of alcohol. Officers request you consider the application.
Right. In terms of where we go next, let's have a. Would you like to put your case or put any points that you like to add to the document which you've already circulated?
Yep, just to summarise it really.
Hmm.
Basically, we're going to be a fine dining restaurant, 18 to 20 covers. We're going to be open 4 nights a week, so that's Thursday to Saturday. The reason, sorry, Wednesday to Saturday, we're 5 nights a week then. 4 nights a week, sorry. The reason for the hours that we requested, it just means that we're able to do additional stuff like small weddings. This is what we've done in the past. We've had a restaurant for 10 years and people now do small intimate gatherings. So it allows us to be able to do that. Normal working hours, our restaurant will open at 6:30. So we'll open at 6:30 for pre-dinner drinks, but all of our diners eat at 7:30. So, and this is something that we've always done. So it's not, oh, we're just saying it to try and get the premises license. We've only ever, for 10 years, we've only ever had 1 sitting. So, but this time since COVID, we've started doing seating everyone at 7:30, and we've been doing that for the last, well, since we've gone back from COVID, isn't it? So
Since the second lockdown, the end of the second lockdown, and the restaurants were able to return, we've operated on the same basis at our previous premises. So we had those premises for 10 years. We've worked in Borough Council, operating in the same manner, fine dining with a single sitting restaurant. In a much bigger space, we were 50 covers before, and we're going down to 18 covers, 18 to 20 covers. So I think the ability to commercially, the ability to have extra opening hours offers us as a restaurant to be able to do private functions, to be able to do other restaurant, kind of business out of the hours that we normally operate. So that's why we've requested, during the day, every single day, etc., etc. So we don't want to remove that as the opportunity to offer those type of hours to customers, because someone approached us and wants to do a lunchtime family gathering on a Sunday lunch. We don't want to be restricted, not be able to do it, and restricting the business, not be able to take on those kind of parties without having the premises license at those times. So.
And that's the sort of thing we've done in the past. So it allows us to be able to do the extra things. And we've always worked in residential areas. So we were in Old Woking before, and that was a residential area. And then we had to move to West Byfleet, again, that was residential. So, and we're also going to be living above. So we're going to be, sympathetic to our neighbours, and, we want them to be customers as well. We don't want to go in and start, doing something, rocking the boat, so to speak. Our clientele as well aren't, they're not.
It's not going to be fast paced.
Yeah.
So we are, again, like I said, single seating. So everybody comes in at the same time, get fed, and then pretty much leave at the same time. So a lot of people got used to not so much the 10 o'clock curfew that was imposed on us last year, but the 11 o'clock curfew. Restaurants have benefited from an 11 o'clock curfew because you get home at a decent hour rather than 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning. So a lot of restaurants have now reacted on that to get to, to have the good work-life balance between, diners coming in and their staff. So for the welfare of staff and for ourselves, we've found that an 11 o'clock curfew was completely fine, because we managed to do and to offer to our diners everything that we wanted to propose to them, as well as being at home a decent hour. So it's something that is fresh in people's minds, and a lot of diners have got used to that.
And they respect it as well.
And
So
a
it's
lot of
become a
restaurants
norm
will
now,
carry on
yeah.
operating that way. So for us, I think it's key to, to work on those kind of like principles that we have with how we want to run our restaurant. So I don't know what else we would like to that.
Yeah. I think there's nothing else to say, because obviously we added everything with the document that we sent. So just to emphasise it, so you can hopefully hear the genuinity in our voices. So, but yeah.
Well, thank you for that. Do we have any questions from?
Yes, I have one that the officers probably answer. The opening hours are until midnight, the opening hours. And yet you've got recorded, regulated entertainment until half an hour after that. So is that after the doors have closed? You've got late night refreshments half an hour after the restaurant closes. And if the sale of alcohol on your non-standard timings for special events, which obviously you say you're hoping to do, but if it's for consumption both on and off the premises, can people then come in and buy their drink after the closing hours, i.e. at 1 o'clock, and go take it away and go out and drink? Because those timings don't correspond with each other.
Okay, so oh, sorry.
I don't know.
So it needs the clarification really, because you're right, if the opening hours are at midnight, well, that's when it should shut. Shut at midnight.
So it can't go on. If we allow the opening hours till midnight, then the extra, apart from on the special a special
Well,
event.
yeah, apart from the special occasions,
Yes,
yeah, because they
then-
have asked for the supply of alcohol till midnight.
Yep,
The music, yeah, it does say late night refreshments to midnight 30, so that would have to stop at midnight,
yeah.
and so with the music.
So
So I've
we,
got it on midnight for the live music, and the recorded music I've got till midnight 30.
yes, so it's half an hour after the premises are closed.
Yeah.
So that can't happen, no. Thank
Apart
you.
from, like you said, the special occasions.
yeah. And the late night refreshments have to come back to midnight.
Yeah.
Yep, thank you. And going on from that, if it's for consumption, the sale of alcohol, are they allowed to, if I'm walking past but I'm not dining, can I, if it's open till midnight, can I go in at 10 to midnight and buy some alcohol and walk out of the restaurant?
We don't allow that, just so that you know.
But it's a question whether the
They
license
would
allows
be able
that.
to, yes,
I would be able
if
to,
they allow it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Because it's got off sales as well.
yeah, thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Councillor Ellis.
Could I just mention
sorry.
on that point? They have put till midnight 30, so if the opening hours change to match the live music hours, on a legal standpoint, because they've asked for it in the application, would that be extending the application by doing the opening hours? It would be, even though the music is till midnight 30, so you wouldn't be able to extend.
Thank you.
Councillor Ellis.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You actually answered a couple of my questions in your presentation,
Oh, that's good.
which is really helpful. Thank you. I wasn't sure about the meaning of single
Yeah,
sitting,
yeah.
but you've actually explained that very well.
Thank you.
I've got, I think, just one question left actually, and that's a point of clarification, and I apologise if it's actually answered. in
No, that's
this
okay.
way, but it's just about the entrance to the car park.
Yeah.
Is that from the Recklesham Road or Rowan side? Oh, sorry, Rowan side is the property next door on one side. Is the entrance there or is it from Riverdale?
Riverdale. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a very much a residential area.
Yeah.
So if you're open until those hours, by the time people have got their coats, they've had a wonderful meal, a wonderful evening, they're probably quite joyful. Do you feel that you can control the noise element of people talking, laughing and leaving the premises?
We are, because of the type of restaurant we are, people come for a dining experience. The
Yeah.
likelihood is the majority of them do not drive, and that so we're also going to have a walk-in entrance, so for where customers, which isn't off of Riverdale, so that's off of Recklesham Road. Yeah.
We've submitted a pedestrian entrance to our premises from Recklesham House, from Recklesham Road into Recklesham House. So that's in the planning application that we submitted to the council. So it's a full pedestrian entrance, completely gated, with CCTV, etc. So you're right with going into the car park from Riverdale, which has a row of 4 houses opposite Recklesham House and 1 or 2 houses next to us. We understand that it's highly residential and people would not want to hear laughter, loud noises in the car park whilst they're in bed. That's fully understandable. So we would be there to monitor those things. Like Lauren said, we're planning to live above, so the monitoring of the car park falls onto us, and the monitoring of the noise falls onto us to, tell our diners to leave our premises quietly, and if that's not respected, then to go out and monitor those and tell them again that they have to get into the cars quietly and leave the premises quietly. And it's part of our
ethos. It's what we've
Yeah,
always
it's
done.
part of our
so-
principles and part of what the restaurant brings. If people can't respect that, I'm sorry, you can't return. As simple as that. Well, yeah, because
We're quite-
if we're
quite
getting
brutal like
noise
that,
pollution
yeah.
from, you know, diners that are too loud and a bit jolly because they've had a couple of glasses of wine, etc., we can't allow noise to be spread out through the whole car park because they're a bit joyful and everybody else is in bed. It's not acceptable, and we will not accept that behaviour. So
Thank you. Could I just confirm, is the entrance, the walkway?
yeah,
Is that between your building and Rowan's side or on the other side?
it's on the other side. So
Okay.
so we've planned, so as you come up Recklesham Road, our house is on the right hand side. It has a big front garden, and we've planned for the third railing on that front garden along the pedestrian, along the pavement to come down and create the gate from there. So it has no effect onto Rowan side,
Okay.
which is on the left. Is literally off the crossing pretty much between Riverdale and Recklesham Road.
Thank you.
Paul, you have something to say?
Sorry, Chairman, just to go back to your
Sorry.
question, Councillor James. Apologies, but it's been a while since I wrote the report, because it came in ages ago. But it was picked up about the closing times at the time and spoke to the applicants, and they adjusted it to make the closing time to midnight 30, and they re-advertised, so it should be fine.
Okay.
So it will be midnight 30, the closing time.
Right. Thank you.
So
Can I-
apologies for that.
That's okay. Can I just, going back to your point as well, we actually answer all of our bookings personally, and within our bookings, we say that we live in a residential area, so for it to be respected and that. And also the name of our restaurant is called Maison, that's our home. So we'll welcome you into our home, and it's so small, we will be greeting people at the door, we will be, you know,
Escorting out.
escorting them out.
Yeah,
So,
it's full of steps and beams.
yeah.
Yeah,
But it's like if you were coming around to our house for dinner, that's how it will be. Do you know what I mean? So if people are getting a little bit rowdy, we will ask them to keep the noise down. And it's 18 people. You know, we can control 18 people.
Anything else?
I have nothing else, no.
Well, I more out of interest, why did you move from working to Byfleet and now to Farnham? What
So,
was the driver?
the driver for it. So all working, we were there for 4 years. So we started London House Restaurant off the back of my experience of MasterChef. So I did MasterChef Professionals, semi-finalist, got the opportunity to open a restaurant, so we took it. That was back in 2011. We moved after 4 years because a developer came in and bought the premises to redevelop into flats. So we got given our marching orders whilst we were in negotiation for a new 20-year lease. So it wasn't an ideal scenario, but it is what it is. Then we found new premises in West Byfleet. That was an existing restaurant with offices above that got changed to residential. So we had 12 flats above us at those premises. So obviously noise was a thing that we had to control, etc. So we were there in West Byfleet for 6 years. And in lockdown, in the first lockdown, we felt that we needed a change. So we ended up having 3.5 businesses in West Byfleet, a bar, a restaurant and a deli, as well as a share in a patisserie, all in West Byfleet. And we decided to, given the stage of our lives now and the age of our kids and everything else that we want to achieve within the industry, we decided it was right for us to reduce our commitments. So we decided that a single seating restaurant was just right and a fresh start. Because after 10 years, not to say that a restaurant becomes stale, but you have to constantly reinvent yourself. So we felt that it was the right ending for London House at the right time. So we then decided that it was right for us to move on, and we wanted to be part of a different community, and I wanted to be completely unknown. So in Recklesham and Farnham, we have a few customers, but not that many. So and also think maybe Farnham lacks fine dining restaurants. So within a certain radius, I always look at a map of guides like the Michelin Guide. So we've been in the Michelin Guide since 2012. So within 10 miles of us in Racklesham, there is not a single what I call true fine dining restaurants. There's not a single one. So the opportunity is there for us to build onto something and create a new story. So we decided on a fresh start. So that's why we then found the premises. I fell in love with it, or we fell in love with it, but I fell in love with it on paper. I'm very sentimental like that. It has the original bread oven, and to me that was, oh my God, it was amazing. Yeah, 15th century. So I fell in love with the premises. We were then able to dig deep into it and look at what we needed to input and what we needed to achieve and what we could achieve with the premises, and decided to just go for it. There's no, you only live once, right? So you just go for it and see what happens. So that's why we've put this together alongside the planning application to make sure that we were, you know, all in par with what Maison wants to achieve, as well as what Maison can achieve, as well as
What we can achieve.
fitting in
Yeah.
with, you know, the community that's around us. I think that's important, you know, to fit in Farnham Town and Racklesham, and to bring something to the community. So we want to feel valued. So we've always had that. You know, Woking, we were in the middle of a roundabout with nothing else around us, and earned the reputation that we've managed to build over the years. And, you know, don't get me wrong, it wasn't easy. It took a lot of hard work, but having good reputation means that you have, you know, better and better clientele, and you become one of these better restaurants. So that's why we were always valued. So yeah, we decided that it was time to close the chapter and open a new one.
Right.
Very nice.
Mr. Harris, you from Farnham. Could we hear what the Farnham Town Council?
Hello, yes, thank you, Chair. Good morning, committee. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Fine.
I'll just read you what I've written down here, if you'll forgive me reading from my script. It just keeps me on track a bit better. So I'll introduce myself again. My name is Councillor George Hess, Ward Councillor for Castle Ward, and a member of the Farnham Town Council Planning and Licensing Consultative Group. I've been asked to represent Farnham Town Council in respect of the licensing application for the new Maison restaurant at Wrecklesham House, Wrecklesham Hill, Farnham. There's no objection to repurposing a fine old listed building from offices to a restaurant, provided nuisance to residents in Riverdale is limited. I think, as the committee appreciates, Riverdale is a quiet residential street that will provide access to the car park at the rear for up to 8 vehicles. Vehicular movements when the building was offices would have generally been during the daytime. However, this new use as a restaurant is entirely different and will impact residents at night, when families can reasonably expect to have quiet enjoyment of their homes. The proposed closing times for this application are much later than, for example, the nearest Wrecklesham restaurant, which is the Bengal Lounge, a few hundred yards away by the roundabout. This restaurant has fewer residential houses nearby, and I'm informed by their staff their closing times are 10 p.m. Sunday to Thursday and 10:30 Friday and Saturday. The closing times proposed for the Maison restaurant are much later and not acceptable to residents, particularly with the inevitable noise of car doors closing, headlights shining on houses, and the movement of vehicles. There's also the associated noise of clearing away, disposing of rubbish and glass bottles at the end of the day, and ways of minimizing this noise needs to be considered. Also, if the ownership of the restaurant changes in the future, we would question whether the licensing hours would go to the new operator, and they may not have the same approach and style as the current applicants. The planning and licensing group at Farnham proposes earlier closing hours than the hours applied for and proposed the following. Sunday to Thursday, 11 p.m. Friday and Saturday, 11:30 p.m., which in fact is later than the adjacent restaurant. We propose later closing time extensions be applied for Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, and other special events and parties. And it's suggested that 12:30 p.m. should be the latest. That's the end of my submission. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Committee.
Do any of the committee have questions of Councillor Head?
Chair, just to say, I've just looked up the opening hours for the Bengal Lounge till 11:30 every evening of the week. Sunday, yeah, every day of the week they're open till 11:30. Their opening hours.
Thank you.
Is the Bear and Ragged staff within distance? I'm not sure where you are.
So our Bear and Ragged staff, yeah, they're just along the streets from Bengal Lounge. So Bengal Lounge would be on the roundabout, and Bear and Ragged stuff would be further along, and then you have the Royal Oak, which is a bit further on from there. So they're all within. I think Bengal Lounge is within about 5 minutes from us. So we're right on the.
By the roundabout.
Yeah, so Bengal Lounge is right on the roundabout. We're further down, but we're right on Recklesham Road.
Yeah.
So I understand they're concerned about headlights as well. You know, we're on a busy road. Recklesham Road is ever so busy. I think the quietest I've seen it is when a lorry hit the bridge, and that happened about 6 weeks ago. And that's the quietest I've seen that road up until 9:30. And I've looked at different times during the day, at night, etc. Up until 9:30, 10 o'clock at night is non-stop.
Okay, as far as the Bear and Ragged staff go, Sunday they're open from 7 in the morning till 11:30. They're open every day at 7. Monday they close at midnight 30. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all to midnight 30. Friday and Saturday they're till 01:30 in the morning. And would you like me to look up the Royal Oak as well?
How far away is the Royal Oak?
Royal Oak from the Bear and Ragged stuff is about 2-3 minute walk.
Oh, right.
So
How
those
far is it
two
from yours.
from us, I'll say 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
Just casually, no risk.
Also, we have never disposed of our bottles in the evening. We always do it the next day.
Yeah.
So they stay
And
on.
during
They
the
stay.
day.
Yeah, they stay on the premises. We don't get rid of the bottles at night. It's something that we've never done.
And we impose the refuse collections from any kind of like companies. So normally we use Chambers because we like to support local economy. So Chambers, glass recycling, as well as general waste, recycling waste, it's all taken at a decent hour during the day. So it would be in the morning. It won't be at 6 o'clock in the morning because we've had issues in the past. And I understand, 300-litre glass bin that's been tipped into a lorry at 6 o'clock in the morning is going to wake the whole neighborhood up. So we impose those conditions on them. So if the company is not able to fulfill those conditions, then we use somebody else.
It's quite common, as I understand it, for those kind of conditions to be applied after lunch.
I don't know if it's common, but we do have a few premises where there's a condition put on there to say that no bottles and rubbish to be emptied after a certain time in the evening.
And I think in terms of environmental health, that's number 5,
Yes.
which has been agreed actually. So
Yeah,
if we
so-
get
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
that's
Spoke to
all
them a
set
couple of
out.
months ago. Yes.
And as far as the Royal Oak opening hours are, so 10 o'clock in the morning, apart from Sunday, they're open at 12. Sunday, they close at 11 o'clock. Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, they close at midnight. And Friday and Saturday, they close at 0100.
Right.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that.
That useful information.
Councillor Hess, do you have any other points you may like to make?
Well, I think I've made our points that we agreed at the consultative group. So I do welcome this restaurant, and I do wish the proprietors every success with it commercially. The main real concern is the impact on residents in Riverdale, because that is a quiet residential road. I fully accept the observation about the Recklesham Road being unbelievably busy, which is true. It is a busy road. Riverdale is off that, and it's obviously a quieter road. So it's really, I'm here to represent residents, essentially, to minimise disruption to their normal quiet enjoyment of their properties. And I hope that, you know, a satisfactory compromise can be arrived at, so that residents aren't impacted negatively. And I do appreciate what the applicants are saying, that they're going to be living there. They want good neighbourly relations with the people that live in Riverdale, and that's very good, and I applaud that. But of course, the property could change hands, and a new restaurant operator could move in who might have a different approach. So that just needs to be borne in mind. I'm not sure whether the licensing manager could confirm whether licensing hours transfer automatically with a property when ownership changes, or whether a new operator has to come back and make a fresh application. Perhaps that would be interesting to know. But I think it's really to find a compromise that everybody's comfortable with, that won't impact residents negatively. And that's really the nub of it from our point of view. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Hess.
With regards to the question, it can be transferred, but obviously that's with the sale of the premises or when they lease it. It's the premises licenses to the applicants. If they decided not to, but generally they probably would, because they get more money for their business if they don't come with a license, and then it would keep the same hours.
And the same conditions as well.
Same conditions if it's transferred, unless the new owners wanted to change it for some
Which
reason.
means they come back to us.
And of course,
Well, not
if there,
necessarily.
if there are complaints about noise, inconvenience, that would be taken up.
Yeah, at any time, any person can put in for a review. It's an application form, a review of the licence. So if we get a number of the normal steps would be, we'd speak to environmental health, we'd speak to the people suffering the noise, try and work it out that way. But eventually the law does say that any person at any time can put in for a review of the licence, and that would come in front of the licensing committee again to hear. Right.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for that update.
We also reached out to all of our neighbours, probably about 45, 50 of our closest neighbours, and wrote a similar letter to that, a bit more personable, which we signed individually, and we posted them, and people came back with the clarification that, oh, okay, now we know what you're going to be doing. So we had people emailing us and handwriting us like letters and that, welcoming us to the area. And I think they feel a bit at ease now. Now they know what we're going to be offering and what we're going to be doing in terms of like less inconvenience to their lives and disruption. So we also don't plan on moving because we're buying.
And in terms of location, where the house is, we're right on the edge of Riverdale. Riverdale is a longer road, it's probably about a mile long into the estate. And we're right on the edge of, Riverdale and Recklesham Road. So we're not in the center of the estate as such, and we're not going, we understand about the noise and the noise pollution and the cars, etc., etc. I understand all of that, but we're right on the edge of that estate.
So as it goes in, it's quieter, but where the three houses that are opposite us are getting the disruption from Recklesham Road, so to speak, already.
Okay. Is there anything else that anybody as a result of Councillor Hess's comments?
No.
But in which case, sorry,
I just on the application, because it hasn't come up, but I just thought I'd clarify. On the application, is there anything similar So under unregulated entertainment, live and recorded music again, is anything similar? So those hours are in relation to, now this was aligned to it because
Yeah.
there were some issues, but that's the same as smooth, that's the same as the live music, I believe.
Yeah, that's on page 20.
Just to,
Yeah. We've got nothing else to add. I think what we would like to do is to consider the application in detail and come back to you very shortly, hopefully, with our response. And do stay on. Right. What's the process to follow here? Do we retire out of this room or?
Yeah. We're getting into the members' room.
Right. Will you excuse us? Do
You
stay?
don't have to sleep, he's on there still, we can go outside if.
No,
No, it's just us three and the
Oh, okay.
lawyer.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome. We'll be back shortly.
Yeah.
Yes, we're unmuted as well.
Okay, right. We've given substantial consideration to your application, and we feel that we have actually no objection to it proceeding, and we would like it to go ahead, and wish you all the very best in making this a business success and a change from what you were operating in Byfleet.
Thank you.
Welcome to Farnham and Waverley.
Thank you.
I just as an aside, I think, you know, the points raised and concerns raised by Councillor Harris from Farnham, I think as individuals, our feeling is that you will certainly address those concerns and ensure that the neighbourhood will be well served in terms of noise, and you'll be working well within the neighbourhood, and we are very pleased. And welcome to a new business in Farnham.
Oh, thank you.
May I?
Chairman, could I just clarify on the additional hours?
The additional hours,
So we've got New Year's Eve till 1 o'clock,
Yeah.
which is fine. It's
Yes.
easy to be for us to enforce, and the Christmas Eve's easy to
Yeah.
enforce. The
absolutely.
private function one is just trying to win as a way to enforce that,
Yes.
whether there's a condition or anything.
Well,
Well,
We
through
will-
you, Chairman, we did try to say, could we have a certain amount of those events so that every time that there are 18 people sitting in the dining room on a Tuesday evening and they wanted to carry on, that they didn't suddenly say, oh, it's a special event when it hadn't been applied for. I mean, the 18 people might not be friends at the time, but by the time they finished dinner, but you know, we were advised that we really couldn't do 12 a year, because how do we know which one it is? So we decided that with the applicants as they are, that we were happy with that. If a new person came and there were complaints, it would have to come back to us, and then we could review the special events.
Okay.
Does that help?
does that satisfy the licensing side of
We were
it?
advised by our lawyer that it would be difficult to have so
It
many events.
is difficult to do that,
Yes.
but then it's also difficult if it was granted, then it's also difficult because if I turn up on a Tuesday evening, and not that these people would do this, but they could say every night of the week, yeah, it's a special event. Every time I turned up, yeah, it's a private party, it's a private party. So that was my only concern.
The recourse there, I think, is a neighbours complaining, and that immediately brings that back to your body to review, and if necessary back to the licensing. Okay.
And I think
Committee.
we also discussed the possibility of there being a set, you know, for example, one per month, or the first Friday of the month, but I think the members were
But-
concerned that might be unduly restrictive on your business operation and circumstances, so it was discussed and discounted.
Would that sort of fit in with your concept of controlling special events?
No. But through you, Chairman, if you turned up on a Tuesday and you wanted to, and at 1 o'clock, the applicants would then, I presume, would be able to show you the booking, which would be a one-person booking for a special event,
Which is very
and
true.
not 8 different people booking in. And that would show you that that was a special event.
Okay.
That is very true, because we have all the notes, and as we were saying,
Absolutely.
we
Run a diary.
we run a diary, and we do it's booking only. So going back to your point, if people come in from the street to buy alcohol, they can't do that, you know, because we are booking only, and it's pretty much, sometimes people will buy, they don't finish their bottle of wine, so they take it away with them. But people don't come off of the street and buy wine. So, and the one booking, you can see all of the details in the diary, because we keep everything in there as well. So
Well, I don't think we need to re-review everything.
No, I apologise. It's just
No,
that I
no,
wasn't
I-
sure if you'd considered it, but you have
We have.
considered it. That's
So thank you very much. Anyway, as I said, good luck with the business,
thank you.
and keep your neighbourhood in mind. Yeah.
We will do.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Anything else? Meeting closed.